Let's start from definition of MFRS 137. Contingent liability, a possible obligation that arises from past event and whose existence will be confirmed only by the occurrence or non-occurrence of one or more uncertain future events not wholly within the control of the entity. A present obligation that arises from past event but is not recognized because, first one, it's not a probable that an outflow of resources embodying economic benefit will be required to settle the obligation. The second is the amount of the obligation can be measured with sufficient reliability. The issue that we focus on this video is recognition of contingent liability under MFRS 137. There are three facts under this issue, which are: the first fact is probable contingent liability. A contingent liability that is a probable is considered a liability. Liability is considered probable if the event is more likely than not to occur, meaning there is a greater than 50% chance of an outflow of resources. If the amount can be estimated reliably, it should be accounted for as a provision in the financial statement. On the other hand, if the amount cannot be estimated reliably, the disclosure by way of a note is not to be made. For example, in the case of XYZ Manufacturing Ltd facing a legal claim for defective product, the company legal advisor FXs that losing the case is more likely than not. Therefore, provision must be recognized for the estimated amount of RM 500,000.
The second fact is possible contingent liability. A liability is considered possible if the event is more than remote but less than probable. This means that there is some chance of an outflow of resources, but it is not sufficiently certain to warrant recognition as a provision. The likelihood of the outflow of resources is not high enough and not more likely than not less than 50%. The obligation arises from past events that give rise to a legal or constructive obligation. For example, if ABC Pharmaceutical Ltd is facing a lawsuit with a 40% chance of losing and having to pay damages, this would be a possible contingent liability as the likelihood is neither remote nor probable. This disclosure is made in the financial statement to inform stakeholders about potential risks.
Next, remote contingent liability. A contingent liability is considered remote if the chance of an outflow of resource embodying economic benefits is extremely low, which is less than 5%. The liability should not be reflected on the balance sheet. Because of the event occurring is very low, remote contingent liabilities are not recognized as provision in the financial statement. For example, if DEF Electronics, a company faces a lawsuit with a very low chance of losing, which is less than 5%, this will be considered as a remote contingent liability and will not be recognized or disclosed in the financial statement.
Case study. A customer in the legal proceeding claimed damage of 1,000 ringgit Malaysia against Focus Ice Berhad for misleading advertisement. At the reporting date, the lawyer of the entity were of the opinion that there was a possibility that the entity will lose the case. The keyword will refocus as possibility. According to MFRS 137, a present obligation arises from past event, which in the case is a misleading advertisement, right? The lawyer opinion indicate that is only possibility that we see that no possibility of losing the case means is sensitive with Focus Ice Berhad will have to pay the damage. This cannot be qualified as a liability but will classified as a contingent liability. So, in 1,000 ringgit Malaysia will indicate of the uncertainty the amount or timing of an outflow and the possibility of any reimbursement of the principal. Since the obligation is only possible and not probable, Focus Ice Berhad does not have a present obligation at the reported date. Without a present obligation, the contingent liability does not meet the criteria for recognition as a liability in the financial statement. Lastly, it must be closed in note to account as a contingent liability.